Without further ado, I think you've waited long enough. Our first comedian tonight is one of my favorites, and her name is Clara. Give it up for Clara, everybody!
Hi, I'm Clara. I didn't wear my glasses tonight so I can lie to myself about how many of you there are out there. Just to be clear, there are 1,000 of you, half of which are talent scouts looking for a young, plucky girl to star in her very own Netflix special. So let's get started. Let's give the people what they want. This past summer, I enrolled in a stand-up comedy writing workshop. The doctors there referred to it more as a partial hospitalization program, but I find that's more a matter of opinion than anything. I will say they did seem less concerned with my material and more concerned with my crippling depression and sense of hopelessness. But I've never done something like this. This just might be what it's like in the big leagues. But if I'm being honest with myself and all of you, I did spend the summer in a partial hospitalization program. It was great. They told me I was going to be there for 6 weeks, but I was having so much fun, I said, let's make it 11. And we did, 11 long weeks. And I had a really good time. There's a big stigma around getting help. But what I came to realize over the summer is that getting help is kind of the sanest thing that you can do. So fuck all of you who had regular summer vacation. Did you go to the beach? You hang out with your friends? I had a picture of a hiking trail in my treatment room, but good for you. So I like to think of myself as a mental health ally and advocate. I want to be able to get up here and I want you to laugh because that's how I deal with my problems. But at the same time, it's really important for me that you guys know that this is kind of like a reverse TED Talk. So if at any point you feel like you've learned something, know that there's been a grave misunderstanding. I am in no way qualified to be giving advice. My parents still talk about me like I'm one of those houses on HGTV, like it's gonna look great when it's done. For like a recap or kind of like a previously on, I suffered from depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, and body dysmorphia. And more recently I was diagnosed with panic disorder, which is kind of like the latest release on the album that is my mental illnesses. Like the album alone was a bop, but this new single really puts it over the edge. So I guess you could say I went to the partial hospitalization program to kind of get a remix on that album. Okay. I promise I'll never do that again. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so that's where I was. But one of the weird things about the program is you're actually discouraged from talking to people in your life when you're there. So friends and even family, because they can be potential triggers. So the few times that I did get to see friends, they all had the same question. They'd be like, Clara, what's it like on the inside? And the best way I can think of describing it is kind of like the world's worst summer camp. And by that I mean we didn't so much make friendship bracelets, but I did spend a fair amount of time with one of those blood pressure arm cuffs on my forearm to take my vitals. So same difference. Additionally, there's a lot of different things that we did that were very similar to a summer camp. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the treatment for OCD. It's called exposure therapy. And that's basically just one big game of truth or dare. So what you do, you all come into one room and you sit down, and then it's my turn, and they go truth or dare. And I say dare because I'm a woman of action. And they say, okay, dare. I dare you to go lay on the floor of the bathroom and deal with your contamination issues. Okay, truth. We do not want to do that as a collective group. So they go, okay, truth. tell us about your last sexually intrusive thought. Okay, back to the dare. We never talk about this. That's something we don't talk about. I use the example of contamination issues and sexually intrusive thoughts because those are both things that make up my OCD. And I think OCD is one of the most misunderstood mental illnesses out there. All the time I'll have people coming up to me and telling me like, oh, I have OCD too, I really like it when my handwriting is neat, or like all of my desk is organized. And it's just like, being Martha Stewart's wet dream does not mean you have OCD, okay? OCD is so much darker and sexier than that. OCD means that if I don't touch the walls in the right way, a member of my family will die. That is OCD. Basically, we played lots of different games while we were there. We were put into different programs. So the OCD program is just one of the programs you can be in. Largely, there are 3 major programs. You can sort of think of them as sad Hogwarts houses. And instead of a sorting hat, it's just an in-depth psychoanalysis. So the 3 you can be placed into, you can be placed in the OCD program to treat OCD. You're put into the focus program, so that's for those of us who suffer from anxiety and depression. Or you can be in the 3rd program, the hybrid program, which is for those of us who make up option D, or all of the above. So that's where I spent my time. And during the psychoanalysis that placed me in one of these programs, my doctor asked me a question, and I'm still not really sure how to answer it. He asked me, Clara, which mental illness of yours is of the greatest concern to you? And I wasn't sure how to answer that, because that's like asking a mother to choose her favorite child. It all fucked up my life and my body. How's a girl to choose? Another thing that really troubled me about the program is it's a very intense treatment, and some days I wouldn't complain, but if I was ever talking about how difficult it was, the doctors would feel the need to remind me that this was not a spa. To which I would ask them, at what point in my day did you think I was making the misconception that this was a spa? Was it earlier when I was on the floor of the bathroom crying after you dared me to do that? Or perhaps it was later on in the afternoon when I couldn't eat my lunch because of the medication you were making me take. So I'm not sure when the spa was happening. And if it was a spa, I shudder to think of the Yelp review I would have to leave. Half a star. I mean, amenities alone. One day soap ran out. Have you ever been to an OCD clinic where the soap runs out? I come into the bathroom, there's just a circle of people. They all look at me and they go, it's gone. And it's one of those automatic dispensers, so I put my hands underneath it, sure that it will recognize that I am pure of heart and deserving of the soap. But nothing came out. So that was a difficult day for Clara. Another part of treatment and stuff, I tried a lot of different medications. I've managed to kind of baffle the pharmaceutical world. I've tried so many different medications that you could fill a book with the different treatments I've tried. And they have, it's called Case Study 12876. And it's coming to a hospital near you. And the doctors who would read my case study, they all had this cute little nickname for me. They called me the Enigma, which I'm told means beautiful in Spanish. Gracias. There were other games that we played. Sometimes my therapist and I would have little impromptu games of hide and go seek, where she'd be like, okay, Clara, go find 5 people and tell them why you think you're unlovable. And I'd be like, okay, cool. Then I'd hide. Then she'd find me again, and we'd continue this for the rest of the day. Thank you, Trevor. Another game that we would play, a game I'm not convinced exists outside of the partial hospitalization world, is self-esteem bingo. For those of you who are not familiar with the game that's sweeping the nation, let me break it down for you. So in self-esteem bingo, we play for keeps, okay? None of this 5 in a row shit, it's blackout. So each box, how you get a point is it'll say something on it like, say something you're proud of, and then you say something proud of about yourself, and then you scratch it off, you got your point. But there's really no greater blow to the self-confidence than receiving a compliment from someone and then watching them scratch out the box that says, compliment someone who looks like they need it today. That was rough. That was a rough one. I definitely struggle with self-esteem issues. I do not think self-esteem bingo helped. But I got to see my little cousin over the summer. He came and visited me, and we were having a conversation, and he stops me right in the middle, and he goes, Clara, you know, you have a weird but reassuring face. And I'm not sure how to make of that. But it's something I keep in mind all the time now. And so I definitely struggle with self-esteem. But I think the best thing for my self-esteem was at the program. So basically, I was one of very few girls my entire stay there. The program was largely dominated by men, which I don't know if any of you guys are math majors out there, but based on numbers alone, where I'm a 4 here, I was a hospital 8. I was a goddamn queen. It was amazing, and then I come back here with these expectations, and they are shot to shit, I gotta tell you. But I feel like I was never even really able to take advantage of my status as an 8 because it's very difficult to flirt in a partial hospitalization program. So first, like every time they know the worst things about you because you like introduce yourself. You're like, "Hi, I'm Clara, and these are my emotional scars." That is how you introduce yourself. And then also all the other things that you do, like normally when you're flirting, like pretending to be super easygoing and carefree. That doesn't work because they know you have anxiety and you are very careful. And you can't pretend like you're up for anything because they know in fact you are up for nothing. And it's also difficult to flirt because you can't try to do the thing like a fun, loving girl or whatever to get someone's attention because they know you have depression and you could just be a real bummer sometimes. So it was a difficult summer, but throughout this period, it's probably been one of the darkest periods in my life. The one thing people have told me more than anything is that, you know, Clara, I know it's hard right now, but one day you're going to look back on this and laugh at it. And I really hope that's true because if it is, my future is going to be fucking hilarious. Thank you so much.